bitch. Get out the way. Good morning, everybody. Happy 250th birthday to all of you out there. I didn't know what to get you guys, so I just got you a stream about some of the worst people on the planet. Welcome, everybody, to Morning Maniacs with Mike. It's good to see everybody. Welcome, chat. Thank you guys for joining me today. Oh, baby. My coffee's a little bit cold right now because I poured it, went and took a shit, and my shit took a little bit longer than I anticipated, so I'm sipping on chilled coffee right now. You know what? I got to hit you with a smoke detector chirp. There we go, baby. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Dude, I love hitting you guys with a good chirp, man. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Wyatt. Happy birthday in heaven, America. Congrats to everybody. We made it. Oh, man. I'm so excited. There's so much weird, fucked up shit that I want to get into today. I don't know if you guys follow sports or not, but big news in the Philly sports world is that the Sixers got a really good guy from the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown. The guy's an amazing player, and his dad is an absolute psychopath who stabbed a guy at a children's football game last year. The guy pulled in next to Jaylen Brown's dad, whose name is Marcellus Brown, which isn't that the guy's name from Pulp Fiction? But anyway, Jaylen Brown's dad was in Nevada taking his kids to a children's football game. And look, here's the deal. I don't know who I'm trying to think of like the worst parents ever in regards to sporting events are. I would definitely go. Football's definitely up there. If you've ever gone to a Pee Wee Football League game, you know those parents are buck wild and fucked up. Not just buck wild or fucked up, but buck wild and fucked up. And that's not just a hood magic act. Buck wild and fucked up. I think fucked up might have passed away, but buck wild still might be going strong and doing magic in the hood at children's birthday parties. But his dad was buck wild and fucked up. And as most parents are at children's football events, I think kids football events, parents are at their worst. Strong contender and might even surpass football parents is wrestling parents. They're absolutely batshit insane. So anyway, Jaylen Brown's dad, Marcellus Brown, was at a kids' football event in Nevada. His Escalade pulled up next to this other guy. He was just sitting in a car with his wife. Marcellus Brown opened up his passenger side door. His thick white wife was driving. Shocker. And when Marcellus Brown opened up the door, he happened to ding the car next to him, which resulted in a brief back and forth. And then within a minute or so, Marcellus Brown stabbed this fucking guy 25 times. The guy survived, barely, but the guy survived, and they just released the police body cam footage of how the whole thing unfolded. And it was a little bit creepy, and also I thought it was going to ramp up to more of a confrontation than it did initially, because Finn, self-defense, okay, yeah. All right, I like the way you think, Finn. For the record, Marcellus Brown is 7 feet tall and close to 300 pounds, is a professional boxer who fought for a boxing title as recently as 5 years ago. Yeah, paging Dr. Crutcher. Yeah, high school football games are insane. Any kind of children's, I would say, all right, so if we're ranking youth sports in regards to how buck wild parents and or crowds are, wrestling events at the top, not like the fun WWE wrestling type events, but just Greco-Roman 5'2" Italian dad with a Napoleon complex. Just that's all the gyms are. I would put those wrestling people at the top. From there, I would probably go with, I would probably go with, who am I going with from there? All right, so I would go with football guys from there. And then I guess basketball. All right, so basketball is definitely top 3 as well. Baseball parents, Finn, I think they get fucked up more than any other parents. Baseball parents, Canadian ice hockey parents, I have yet to experience them, Wyatt, but I'm going to take your word for it. And I got to assume that's super intense because every parent thinks their kid's going to the friggin' NHL. I'm trying to think if I had any youth sports chimp out moments. Personally, no. But I do remember at one of my son's actually it was 2 of my son's basketball games in the past couple of years, there were fights in the stands of the parents. Multiple times the commissioner of the league, even kids basketball has commissioners. And they had to make an announcement before games saying, like, look, we're going to have to throw you guys out. Luke, Mike, did you see that video of the moms scuffling at elementary school graduation recently? I did not, but that is something that is right up my alley, and I would love to see that shit, man. Yeah, if you guys ever, listen, I'm on Instagram at MikeRaney82. If you guys ever see anything that you want me to show on the stream here, just send it my way, and I'll do my best to put it up, man. Because delving into the true crime world to find more fucked up shit each week has been a ton of fun, and I really enjoy doing this shit, so anything you could send me, I would really appreciate it. Pepper Dongs, my dad drunkenly chimped out on my coach after I got taken out for dropping a routine fly ball. My coach was in a wheelchair at the time. All right, Pepper, how did your dad piece him up? I would go, all right, I think I would karate kick a wheelchair guy in the chest just to start it out, make my point, and then maybe smack him in the back of the head. There's so many ways you can attack a guy in a wheelchair, though, man, and that's one thing that people really don't talk about enough. There's just so many ways that you could just devastate somebody who's already physically devastated. No matter the reason, whether the wheelchair is permanent or if it's just temporary to get him through a workman's comp claim. There's so many ways that you could devastate a guy in a wheelchair, and that needs to be the next iteration of Jackass. I went to see the new Jackass movie last weekend. I just love Jackass shit, so the movie was fine. They showed a lot of old footage, which was whatever, but I'll take it, man. I just love the guys. But I think that needs to be the next iteration. They're trying to really shove this new cast down our throats. There's a couple I think really stand out. I love Zackass. I think he's great. He stole the show in the new movie, by the way. And Poopies is terrific too. All right, I caught my eye on the chat. Somebody porked a lady without legs. All right, I'm trying to find it now. Fuck. Oh my god, I can't believe I missed this comment. King Benjamin, thank you. Happy fucking America Day, everyone. All right, so somebody in the chat said they porked a lady without legs. Paging Dr. Crutch. My friend's grandma has a lifetime ban from a local high school gym. Incredible basketball times. I don't think I've ever gotten fired up enough at one of my kids' events, and that might be saying something about me. I don't know, man. Maybe when I have grandkids, I got to get thrown out of a kid's sporting event. But it's never even struck my mind to ramp things up. I've been at some where things were getting heated, and hey, man, have at it if you guys want to go after it. Oh, man, one of my favorite kids' sporting events freakouts was my son was on a summer basketball team, and on his team was a kid who was already pretty hard wigger. Like, this is like, you can tell like when somebody's really going to be dedicated to it for life. This kid was definitely full-term wigger. And his dad, the apple didn't fall far from the Boone's apple wine tree. And there was a game, it was every game, but, thank you, Heath. But there was a game where the dad was especially on this kid. Wigger dad on Wigger kid, just screaming the entire time, telling him what to do in every possible scenario. It's too much. It was too much, and I get the kid's frustration. And the way the kid reacted, it shut the entire gym up. The Wigger dad was screaming at him. He's like, you got to get that rebound. You can't let that ball hit the court. And then at one point, the Wigger child just turns around to his dad, who's in the front row of the bleachers, and just screams, shut the fuck up. Nobody corrected him. Any other circumstance, I think somebody probably would have corrected a kid telling a parent to shut the fuck up. But everybody was on this kid's side. Aside from that, just parents' fights. And that's kind of it, man. All right, molecules. I fucked a guy with no legs. He nubbed up the stairs. Had to leave the chair at the bottom. All right, I love it. All right, BSO. I fucked a midget once. That's the same weight as a woman without legs. All right, pretty good, man. All right, well, brother, it's 10 a.m., and I don't know if I could deal with that level of bragging this early. Man, I don't know if I've ever encountered a midget lady hanging out. If I would have, I definitely would have tried to make her acquaintance. Hey, Eric, what's up, brother? Good to see you in here. But yeah, youth sporting parents are off the chain no matter what it is. But I think we have some clear sports where they're worse than others. You know, football, basketball, and wrestling. But I'm taking everybody's word for it in the chat with the fucking hockey in Canada. I totally get that shit. Baseball parents, they definitely get fucked up more than others. And that seems like it's getting more of a spotlight than ever before. I see more and more parents getting their booze taken away at youth baseball travel shit. Which, I mean, keep it fucking together. All right, guys, so I want to get into this first video, which is Jaylen Brown's Buck Wild dad. Ooh, motocross. I went to one motocross event, and it was so strange. It was, where was it? I think it was in Maryland. It was out in the sticks in Maryland, and it was like 2006-ish. And part of the event was they had an old hockey rink that they had all these kids on mopeds racing around the hockey rink. I don't know what that's called or if it's got a specific name. I think that counts as a motocross event. But it was very strange. And one of the things that was noteworthy about it was that everybody was drinking at this event. All right, y'all. So I'm going to pull up this Jaylen Brown daddy video. All right, y'all.
The father of a star NBA player and a one-time renowned boxer in his own right was accused of stabbing a man during a parking lot fight.
Oh, his guys were like seriously falling out of his stomach.
When it came time for this case to go to court, there was a major twist.
This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Now, a lot of times law enforcement has no idea who they pulled over when they do a traffic stop, and that includes celebrities and people with celebrity connections. That was the case in Las Vegas last fall when the Metropolitan Police Department...
All right, we're going to fast forward a little bit here. Let me get to the... All right, so this is the guy.
2016. But according to Las Vegas Metro Police, it was Marcellus's alleged behavior outside the ring that got him in trouble. I want to take you to All American Park in Vegas in August of 2025. According to an arrest report obtained by News 3 LV, this all started over an alleged door ding in the parking lot. The alleged victim's girlfriend told officers that she and her boyfriend were sitting in their car when an SUV pulled into the space right next to them. When the passenger door opened, it reportedly hit the victim's driver's side door. According to TMZ, the victim was reportedly a youth football coach. When he got out to check the damage, his girlfriend told officers that the other man, later identified as Marcellus Brown, was, quote, immediately confrontational. The men apparently had words. Then the victim started to walk away, according to the arrest report. From there, the arrest report goes on to state that's when Marcellus allegedly went after the man with a knife. One witness told police he may have swung the knife up to 25 times.
I mean, just a terrifying looking guy. Imagine you're at a kid's football game, and through no fault of your own, the guy next to you dings your car, and this monster gets out. 7 feet tall, a tough head shape, man. See the back of his head right there, how it forms like a perpendicular ass. That's always, if you get into a confrontation with a guy with a perpendicular ass head, you're probably going to be stabbed.
The victim got back into the car and his girlfriend drove him to a nearby pharmacy where they then called police. According to News 3LV's...
I mean, what an outfit. Is that a Looney Tunes jacket? It looks like it is. It looks like a combination of Looney Tunes, and it's got his name over the left tit. Oh, man, I wish they showed the dogs here. All right, definitely pit bulls.
View of the arrest report, the victim had stab wounds to his back, clavicle, and left hand, plus a broken rib. He had to have several surgeries, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and had to have part of his digestive system removed. Marcellus Brown also left the scene and was reportedly on his way to the hospital himself for...
All right, I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because this chase takes a little longer than I would like.
Keep your hands where we can see them.
All right, so here they got him. It's a maroon SUV, which perfect car for a 50-year-old black dude with anger issues.
Tell driver, turn off the vehicle.
Driver, turn off the vehicle.
All right. So you have a murder suspect, or what you perceive to be a murder suspect, because I think at this point, nobody's thinking that the victim lived, because there was one video I saw where they said like his intestines were coming out, and they didn't even make it to the hospital initially. His wife just pulled into a pharmacy because it was the closest thing, and things were getting that bad. So at this point, I'm pretty sure they believe that the guy is dying or is close to death. And I do like how the male cop is telling the female cop what to say here.
Drop the keys out the window.
Clear directions, by the way. She's doing very good.
You ready for the driver to exit? Or you want to wait? There's only two of us. Driver, exit the vehicle. Open the door and exit the vehicle. Hands up in the air.
Plot twist. We got all right, we get... Oh.
Turn away from us. Walk back to the sound of my voice.
Get her behind the vehicle.
Step to the right of the vehicle. To the right. Keep coming back. Keep coming back.
All right, stop right here. We got a thick white girl that got out instead of a gigantic black guy. How about that? How's that for black guy magic, man? Everybody talks about black girl magic. Nobody talks about black guy magic, and this is exactly what they mean by it. Where you think a 7-foot murderous giant is going to emerge from the driver's side door. Instead, we get a white girl who's, I mean, this is exactly what you want in a white girl if you're a guy that looks like Marcellus Brown. Just probably 40-ish pounds overweight. If she's got an OnlyFans, I have $2 that's burning a hole in my pocket.
Keep coming back. Keep coming. Stop. Passengers in the vehicle, do not move. Leave your hands where I can see them. No, get back in the car. Do not move. Leave your hands where I can see them. Passenger out next.
Now, one thing that I think they haven't noted yet is that they also got their friggin' kids in the car, which adds a level of insanity to the situation that you go from ding door to stabbing a guy 25 times with your little kids in the back seat. Although I guess it's better that he was going to a children's football game with actual children and not just going to watch for fun.
Passenger, exit the vehicle. Keep your hands up.
Marcellus Brown was in the passenger seat of the SUV with his wife driving and 2 children in the back seat. Everyone was separated while police try to figure out what exactly is going on.
He's pretty much...
In the vehicle, open the door from the outside. Take one more big step to the right.
Oh, this is kind of cool too. Were they wearing matching outfits? I got to rewind it for a second, then I'll get back to this. They were. They're wearing matching outfits. How sweet is that? If you're not willing to wear a matching outfit with me as we go to children's football to stab a parent who dings my door, then I don't even want it.
Open the door from the outside. In the vehicle, open the door from the outside. Step out of the vehicle. Keep your hands in the air. Step out of the vehicle.
Yeah, so it is kind of weird that this guy just stayed in the car. I think he knew what he was up against. He knew it was going to be a gigantic guy. Thank you, brother Kenny Wilson. I appreciate you, homie. I think he knew it was going to be a gigantic guy that did this. So he played his cards right and let the lady cop do all the heavy lifting here, which she does pretty well here, man. Extra points. She still hasn't gotten her gun taken away yet.
Vehicle and keep your hands in the air. Step out of the vehicle, sir. Hands in the air. Turn and face the other way. That's remove the seat. There we go. Walk backwards to the sound of my voice. Keep walking backwards.
DT, go now.
Hey guys, just leave your hands where I can see them. How many are in the car? Is it just two? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. Don't cry. It's okay. If there's two kids, one right here, one back here. That's it. It's okay. It's okay.
An officer asked Marcellus's wife how they even.
All right, this is unfortunate. Could you imagine being in the car on a police chase after your dad just stabbed somebody, knowing you're late to your game?
Up in this situation.
Can you tell me what happened?
We were pulled into the park. We parked next to the My husband opened the door.
Is your husband this big?
Yeah, the other guy said that my husband's car door hit his car door, which...
All right, Marcellus Brown got the perfect white wife, man. And one thing that's to add about her, completely nonplussed. Like this lady's been through similar experiences before. Just no degree of emotionality, just cool as a cucumber. Looks great, just really keeping it together, and it's everything you want in a white wife with a fat butt when you're a gigantic 7-foot black guy boxer who kills people.
didn't happen because our cars were really close to each other. My husband's like, I'm not going to fight with you about it. You know, I'm here for my kids. We walked away. The man hit our mirror, our passenger mirror. And then my husband went back and was like, you know, we don't have to get the left our vehicle. That's not all. We walked away. Next thing I know, my husband was on the ground on his knees in the gravel.
Thank you, Gase. I appreciate you, Gase. Thank you, brother. Now, I don't know that I believe her story here. She's saying that the guy who got stabbed was escalating things, but there's zero chance that a 7-foot-tall gentleman with a custom Looney Tunes vest, not jacket, not shirt, but Looney Tunes vest, there's no chance that he's not the one escalating this confrontation.
You've never seen him before. You don't have any.
No, I mean, he might be one of the football kids' parents, but not our team. I don't.
Were you guys up there for his football
Yes.
practice? Is that what you were
Yes.
there for? So this person's claiming that the car door opened into, was it your
his car.
husband's door that
Yes.
opened into it?
Yes.
Okay, but that didn't happen.
Well, my husband opened the door, but we were far enough away that
But it didn't really happen. Okay, so then
What do you think is the appropriate response to somebody dinging your door? Do you think you even address it? Because especially at an event like that, it's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. It is annoying. But do you think if the other person apologizes, if the person who dinged your door apologizes out of the gate, do you think you just drop it right then? I think you do. But then again, I'm not a 7-foot-tall maniac with a perpendicular butt head and a custom Looney Tunes vest.
Then the words were exchanged,
And then my husband walked away.
Okay.
He's like, I'm not, you know, I'm not here to fight with you. I'm here for my girls. The kid's like, you know, sorry if you think it hit your car, but it didn't.
Okay.
We walked away. And I was like, came up to him, was like, no, man, we're not going to, you know, started confronting him. My husband tried to walk away, continued to walk away. Next thing I looked over, my husband's on the gravel.
Did he push him down?
Knees. I'm not sure. I mean, he had to. He was on his knees in the gravel.
Okay.
And he had something in his face. He said he had something.
All right, Quiet Wyatt, excellent point. Depends how broke you are at the time. Bro, one of my low financial points was maybe, all right, so this was, I think about 5 years ago. It was New Year's Eve. I was at a place called Nifty 50s in Delco, which is like a 50s style restaurant, surprisingly integrated, but incredible food, incredible milkshakes, great comfort food. And I took my kids there. I forget how much I had in my pocket. Like I was down to like my last $100, and I took the kids to get milkshakes, and each milkshake's like fucking close to $10. So I was like, all right, cool. So by the time we leave here, I'm down to like $60. As we're leaving the parking lot, I somehow backed into a car. All right, so this is actually an appropriate use of the word perpendicular. I was backing out, and there was a truck that was a little bit too far back than he should have been, and I accidentally backed into him. Okay, he was parked, but I was moving, and I got out, and I was like, "Fuck, man!" I knocked on the driver's side door because there was nobody I knocked on the passenger side door. There was nobody in the driver's seat, and a lady rolls down the window. Just weed smoke comes billowing out. She had no idea what happened. So like I'm telling her that I just backed into her car, and she has no clue what happened. And I'm just trying to kind of, you know, prevent any kind of escalation. I said, look, it's not bad. There's no clear damage, but for the inconvenience, here, take this. And I gave her my last $60. And when I gave it to her, and when I saw how high she was, she had no clue what had happened. So I just threw my last $60 down the drain. But I think that's an appropriate reaction from both sides.
Over the next 20 minutes, officers began piecing together a timeline based on Marcellus's point of view.
This is our suspect?
In the black.
Yeah. Who stabbed him?
Black guy standing. The other
guy.
Right.
So I don't know if she didn't see that or didn't see anything. It potentially could be self-defense. I didn't ask her if she saw the knife. I just kind of wanted to see what her story was before I said anything. I have the information and I'll run her.
Well, she's not really who we're dealing with at this point.
She what?
She's not who we're wanting to really deal with at this point.
Thank you, St. Louis. Let's get it now. I appreciate St. Louis. Thank you. Oh, thank you, baby. Much appreciated, brother. I'm going to back into a car today just for you being so generous. Thank you.
I was actually literally just on the phone trying to get in touch with the officer that's out with the victim right now. This is kind of a crazy call because it happened at a sports complex. The victim left in one direction, the suspect left the other direction. So I'm actually out on the freeway with our potential suspect right now. So I was just trying to get an update to see what the status of the victim was. So I have no information for you on that one. Well, I don't know if we're hitting self-defense at this point yet, but our guy out here that we have right now has some pretty substantial injuries to him as well. And her, the wife,
could you imagine the tummy ache you got not knowing whether the guy that you stabbed 25 times is alive or not?
of our supposed suspect here said that, yeah, they essentially, two of the males were arguing with each other over their door hitting the other door. Mr. Brown here went up and denied anything ever happening. No door got hit. And our wife is going off and saying next thing she knows is that her husband's actually down on the ground and that he gets back up to try and go off and like protect himself. Essentially, that's pretty much what I've got. He's got his. Oh.
And Jamie, if you're watching this, could you bring me some more coffee, please?
These guys were like seriously falling out of his stomach. He said he only got the story from the victim's girlfriend. He didn't get a chance to talk to the victim himself. But similar story. He pulls up next to the guy in the black car, the victim's car. He opens his door, opens the rear driver's side door of the victim's car. And they all around somewhere. You're not even joking, you're going to have to go to the hospital even if you don't want to. They're going to make you check you out, and then we'll get a ride back with you. For what? For some deadly weapon on the other end. More like battery with a deadly weapon, actually. Battery with a deadly weapon. Charged with you. So we're just trying to find a vehicle that's going to be big enough to actually fit you in there comfortably, because there's no way in heck you're going to be able to fit on the back of these Explorers. So we'll hang tight, we'll try and get you out.
All right, so it looks like they're going to have to get a police pickup truck to fit Marcellus Brown into the back of it. That's one of my worst fears, especially as a lady cop. Like, I'm one of those guys where you got to use 2 pair of handcuffs just to, if he complies, to be able to fit them on him. Thank you, my friend. What's up, homie? Thank you, NBR Sakina. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What's up, brother? And for the record, whenever a cop says to hang tight, you should take off right then and there, because you're fucked. Terrifying for those kids, man. God damn. Just imagine you're pulled over on the side of the road. Your dad just stabbed somebody like 1,000 times in front of you. You're missing your football game because you know your coaches are going to be furious. Your mom's in the back of a police car too. She's lying her ass off. I mean, what are you doing in that back seat if you're those little kids? I would probably just hit my mom's vape. Center console, no impediment to just filling your tiny lungs with some delicious blue raz.
In the hospital already. Well, that depends. You already refused medical attention to these guys. So the first destination will be jail. If jail refuses you just based on your injuries, then we would have to take you to the hospital after that. But that's going to be jail's call at this point. The hospital is just turn back down to jail. Okay. No big deal. Been there before. All right. I got you.
Hitting a giant who just stabbed a guy a bunch of times with a no big deal. That's up there, man.
Well, so we have to wait on the status of the other guy that's down at the hospital. Once we hear that he's okay, that he's in stable condition, yes, we're going to take everybody else. But if he ends up getting seriously injured to the point where he ends up passing away, we got to keep everybody here on scene there. But trust me, I don't want to keep
That doesn't seem like it makes any sense. So the cop just said, like, hey, if we find out the guy's okay, we can take you to jail. But until we find that out, we got to stay here on the side of the road. That doesn't sound like it's right. That sounds like that guy's a little bit scared, like the first cop that was driving the car that had the lady cop doing all the talking. Very odd logic. Yeah, the kids are definitely playing patty cake, man. Yeah, the guy got slapped 25 times. He's not okay. If he survives, he's not okay. There's no situation where this guy is fucking okay.
down. Because again, if this guy ends up dying or he gets put in critical condition, then our homicide detectives or other detectives are going to have to come out and interview everybody. So until we can officially rule out.
Can somebody who's much more intelligent and more well-versed in legalese, not to be confused with minionese, by the way. I know everybody's got minion fever this weekend. But can somebody explain to me that logic of not being able to take a guy in right now until they find out the guy's dead?
The officer also has to make sure that they have a vehicle big enough to fit the massive former boxer.
Air's okay? Yeah, I was just kind of asking him why you're holding me and
So,
our friend from out of town.
did he explain it to you?
He just said that it was out of his jurisdiction. He really didn't want to overstep or say.
All right, I just want to rewind this. I don't know if you heard what I heard, but I definitely know what the closed captioning said. Something about apes.
Big enough to fit the massive former boxer.
Air's okay? Yeah, I was just kind of asking him why you're holding me and
So,
our
did he
friend from out of town.
Did he explain it to you?
He just said that it was out of his jurisdiction. He really didn't want to overstep or say what he
So we're just kind of waiting. We're waiting on further information.
Okay.
And once we get from our higher ups, it just kind of trickles down. So
Okay.
right now we're just
I'm
kind
like,
of
I didn't do anything but drive my husband to the hospital.
No, I understand. I know. It's a lot of hurry up and wait, unfortunately.
Okay.
But right now we're just kind of waiting to hear. But as soon as we know, we will let you know.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want a wife who is willing to cover up a potential murder on your behalf and lie to the police with her hands cuffed behind her back in the back of a squad car while your kids are in a maroon SUV? Or do you want a lady who's just going to be straightforward with people? I don't know, man. I think loyalty is a tool of Wiggers. In this kind of situation, especially with kids at stake, I think she needs to come forward and just be truthful.
You either take my sunglasses off or push them up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
They're like blowing in the wind.
Do you want
can
me to
just bring them back?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Hopefully you'll let me out of this before
I hope so too. But I'll keep you posted, okay?
Can I have my window down a little just so I can see them? Or can I not?
They're okay. I just talked to them. You guys just say mom. You waved at mom. Let her know you guys are
We should be
okay.
done soon,
Okay.
Tell mom to call Jaylen. Call Jaylen.
As we know, we will let you know.
Okay. You either take my sunglasses off or push them up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
They're like blowing in the wind.
Do you want me
can
to
just bring them back?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Hopefully you'll let me out of this before
I hope so too. But I'll keep you posted, okay?
Can I have my window down a little just so I can see them? Or can I not?
They're okay. I just talked to them. You guys just say mom. You waved at mom. Let her know you guys are
We should be
okay.
done soon,
Okay.
Tell mom to call Jaylen. Call Jaylen. All right?
All right. I love how at this point Marcella said, call Jaylen. If you're talking to a white wife with a fat butt who looks like that, you don't think everybody in her phone is named Jaylen? Yeah, call Jaylen. Which one? You Looney Tunes pig.
Despite Marcellus Brown's request that someone in his family contact Jaylen about what's going on, at the time of Brown's arrest, TMZ reported, quote, "Our sources tell us Jaylen doesn't have a close relationship with his father."
Well, that's
and was
good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad that Jaylen Brown's a Sixer, and I'm glad that he doesn't have a close relationship with his father, man. Call Jaylen. Call me on some bullshit after you just stabbed somebody at a kid's football game. You must be out your damn mind. Sorry, I'm channeling Jaylen Brown getting the phone call. Man, how terrifying. Yeah, I try not to escalate any kind of confrontations in public anymore because of how often this kind of shit happens, man. Does anybody in the chat think they have the scariest rage example, whether it's road rage, whether it's parking lot rage, whether it's store rage? This is about as horrific of an example as it gets. But Marcellus Brown, God bless your heart, brother. Yeah, way too much, man. Yeah, I had a raging dad. Like one time my dad got in a road rage incident. It was actually very funny after the fact. But my dad picked me up from my aunt's house, and I was probably like 12 years old. And some kids at a stop sign that my dad had the right of way, but these kids that were at the stop sign across from him did not stop at their sign, and they cut him off. And my dad chased them through Drexel Hill, PA. And they pulled into a driveway, and they all got out of the car, and they ran into the house. And my dad pulled up. I don't think he pulled up on the lawn, but it wasn't a real parking spot. And he tried to get out of the car and run after them. But I was hanging on to my dad saying, "No, Dad, don't do it." That's probably the most intense raging incident that I've been a part of. Yo, John, what's up, brother? Hello, Lee. Oh, Michael Trainer. They should have him. They should have him shoot free throws with Swoop or Franklin or whoever the hell they got right now. Terrifying guy, man. One rule of thumb is you want to avoid these kind of confrontations by most means, but if the guy that you're squaring off with has that Looney Tunes, that personalized Looney Tunes vest, man, that should tell you I don't need to see that somebody has a weapon. If they got a Looney Tunes vest that's personalized with their full name on it, you're going to get stabbed. That's a stabber's uniform. All right, guys, I got something else I want to watch right now. Did you guys watch Worst Neighbor Ever last night? Or not last night. I watched it last night. But if you haven't seen Worst Neighbor Ever yet, check it out. Truth be told, I only watched the first part. Fucked up enough, man. I watched it before bed, and yeah, surprisingly, no nightmares. But there were some parts that were very funny. Netflix does a very good job with showing you true crime that is at parts very funny, and then at parts the scariest fucking shit that you have ever seen. Hang on, I want to get to some of these comments first. Oh, Heath, yeah. When your dad's raging, everything stops. Yeah, Heath's dad, 6'4", 250, and hung drywall for a living. Scary dude. I can imagine, brother. Oh, but anyway, going back to Worst Neighbor Ever. It's on Netflix now. There's 4 parts. Each part's about an hour. It is a lot of fun. Listen, if you're fucked up and you like this kind of shit, it is fun to watch. However, incredibly fucked up. The first part was oh fuck, I wish I had the lady's name in front of me, but I watched the first part last night, and it was about this family in Kentucky. They all had a very nice life. This family, it was one of those situations where aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters, they all like kind of like bought up property on the same block or, streets close by just so they can live near one another. And it seemed like a very nice setup until they took in this fucking lady, Diane, whatever her freaking name was. I apologize for not having it handy. They took her in, and she quickly went batshit. And if you see the first episode, I know you guys will enjoy this too. But she's having her double wide remodeled. So a friend down the street was kind enough to invite her into her home. She's like, yeah, you can stay with me as long as your shit's getting repaired. So this psychopath, who I got to look up this fucking lady's name again. I apologize for not having it. So despite being a guest in their house, this lady starts going batshit pretty quickly. Oh, baby. Oh, Frances. Oh, God, that was the lady's name, Frances. How could I forget Frances? I don't know that you've ever met a well-adjusted lady named Frances. There's just something off about putting an E in the name Frances. Frances Zoyer. And it's 2 A's, just a lady who's just fucked up from the get-go. She moves in with Shauna and David Scott. Okay, those are the people's names. And quickly ruins her welcome. One of the things she does pretty early on into living as a guest in these people's home is she makes them watch a YouTube video of her at an anti-Muslim protest, and she's calling people the F-bombs, which they seem like they were mortified. If I had a house guest, like, I don't know, who was my last house guest? I think Naeem was my last house guest. If Naeem pulled my wife and I into the living room and said, hey, I want you guys to watch this because this is a really cool thing that I did. And it was footage of Naeem at a Muslim protest. I would think that was kind of cool. But they didn't like it. They didn't think it was cool. I don't want to see anybody get bothered, but I do like that people think that shit is cool. Wigging out at the protest, dropping F-bombs, actually made a sign, that's the next level. It's like you can go to protest, and it's like, oh, man, that lady's at a protest. She must be about it. But if you actually have a sign that you made with your hard-earned money, you went to Walgreens that morning to draw a cartoon image of Muhammad. Boy, that says something about your level of hatred. But this lady, Frances Zoyer, she gradually becomes more and more of a problem. She's calling the cops every friggin' day. And I want to play this trailer for the...
Fell in love with it. We were a pretty social neighborhood.
Certainly it was like family.
I love my neighbors.
We were all best friends.
Up until Frances came.
Caroline Hurley.
Jamal Thomas.
Bark Leonard.
That's when all
I got to get back to Frances here. There she is. Oh, that's my girl, Frances. Honestly, if I put on makeup right now, I would probably look like this lady. So as much as I want to say she looks like an absolute menace right out of the gate, I have to be honest and say that if I got some mascara and eyeliner, I could pull off Frances Zoyer for Halloween.
Frances came.
Caroline Hurley.
Jamal Thomas.
Bark Leonard.
That's when all hell broke loose.
911, what's your emergency?
You shot my neighbor.
I had just assumed she was a normal person.
But there was trouble brewing.
She'd be out there mowing her yard naked.
Yes. All right. So going back to this. All right. So this is one of the highlights of episode 1 from Worst Neighbor Ever. This psycho animal, Frances, she's beefing with her neighbor so hard that she's like, all right, you guys, and the whole thing stemmed from, if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. However, things really seemed to take off to another level when they wouldn't let her infringe upon the property line of the guy next to her, who was this old guy who was just doing his thing. And Frances was intent on starting up, paving her driveway and infringing upon his property line by a few feet, which I'm 100% on board with this guy. Just, they had a surveyor come out. The surveyor said, yeah, that's his property. You can't put your shit on there. And that's where things really took a turn. And that's why she started riding this lawnmower naked. And this is a lady who's, I would say at the time she was about 50-ish. Again, looks like me. Like if I decided to cut lawns naked, you would probably, if you saw this cartoon image that's up here right now, you would probably say, is that Mike Rainey cutting the grass in the nude? But I don't have a lot of compassion for Frances, despite the fact that she looks a lot like me. They said they couldn't do anything for the times that she was out there just topless, because being just topless is not a crime. Where they draw the line is with genitals. And that's my own personal line, too, with a lot of different things. If I'm at Chipotle, make my shit just no genitals. If you need to take your top off while you make my burrito, go for it, man. I know a lot of these franchise owners just want to skimp on extra costs like air conditioning for their employees during a heat wave. I get it. If you got to be titties out while you make my bowl or my burrito, please have at it. But I draw the line at genitals being out. I don't want pubes anywhere near my jalapenos.
Mowing her yard naked.
Loud noises at bizarre times.
She would follow me to the grocery store.
He started banging and kicking on the door every night. was just like, you are going to be the target of my wrath.
It doesn't matter what we did. She was nonstop calling the police.
I can't live it.
I do love a lady who calls the police nonstop, man. And you hear a lot of these phone calls. Thank you, Heath. I appreciate you, brother. Oh, you're the man. Thank you for mentioning all that, Heath. Yeah, if you guys like these streams, please like the videos. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I feel like an absolute fucking dildo saying that shit. But unfortunately, it works. But I appreciate you guys watching more than anything else. But in Worst Neighbor Ever, you get to hear a lot of these 911 calls that she's making. And you can even tell 911 operators normally have a short fuse to begin with, but they know her. They know her voice. And they know if it's some bullshit, it's going to be Francis. There was one phone call she made where she's like, they stole my purse. I can't prove it, but I know they did it. They're standing outside smiling at me. Then she calls back a short while later. She's like, I give her credit for this. She's like, I just found the purse rolled up in the back of my car. It says a lot about her character that she admitted that.
And then one day, as I turned to look at my husband,
I lived this every night for years.
The news media couldn't do justice to how extensive the damage was.
this was personal because she knew the people she did this to.
As the police investigation progressed,
you could tell that the house inside was in complete disarray.
We found heroin, methamphetamine, federal badges,
16 firearms.
All right, man. Well, not only do I love the drugs and the guns, but I do like federal badges. It's hard to root against somebody who's willing to impersonate a government official. I mean, where's the line? Is it illegal to have a fake government badge while it's legal to dress as Lindsey Graham for Halloween? I don't know. I don't know where the line is. All right, chat. Sunny Rides DTX, Dallas Walking Trail recommendation, Cedar Ridge and Fort Worth area, really cool and peaceful. Oh, Sunny, I might take you up on that. I got to go up there. I'm going to be doing... So I've been walking outside for all of my interviews for Getting Some Head. And this summer, I'm going to be going up to Dallas to interview Alex Stein. So that would be a perfect spot for when we do our episode. So good looking out, brother.
and it seemed to be a fraud investigation wrapped up in a homicide.
I couldn't believe it. Our lives were torn apart in that moment.
This is just the most outrageous story I've heard as a detective.
You never really know who your neighbors are.
Very cool use of animation, by the way. I like the use of animation in true crime retelling. What was the name of that documentary? I know somebody in the chat knows this, but there was an animated documentary about the University of Texas clock tower shooting with Charles Whitman, and it was entirely animation, and I thought it really accentuated and heightened how fucked up the situation was. I wish I could remember the name of it. Oh my God, I gotta look this up. All right, Tower. That's what it was. Yeah, very cool. If you haven't watched that yet, check it out. Very intense. There it is. Yep. Thank you, Stacks. Yeah, check out Tower, man. It's a really, really riveting retelling of that event. And if you live around Austin, definitely come check it out. It's so... The area is so expansive and peaceful, and it's... Especially back then, which was like, fuck, what was this, like the early 70s where that happened? You would never think that something like that, especially back then, would happen. And I couldn't imagine just trying to get around. And you know the guy is up there in the clock tower, but you have no idea what side of the building he's on. And in the documentary, they mention how cops were coming into classrooms asking if anybody had a gun that they could help out with. Which is kind of, oh man, what a wet dream. But worst neighbor ever. Episode 1 was pretty intense. I can't wait to watch the rest of it. If anybody in the chat has any examples of having the worst neighbor ever, please, I would love to hear about them. I'm trying to think of my worst, man. Mostly just white trash neighbors is what I've had, which is they would probably say the same exact thing about me. But nothing too bad. Mostly just loud people. I was usually the worst neighbor at most places that we've lived. I said to my wife a couple weeks ago, because last week was exactly 1 year that we've been here in Austin. And I said to my wife, we have a week left and I don't want to jinx it, but this is the first place that we've lived where the police haven't been called on me in the first year for wilding out. There was a lot of monkey business. I remember I got not trouble, but a little bit of a finger shaking at me at our first apartment that we lived in. The Eagles were playing in the NFC Championship game against the St. Louis Rams. I think it was 2002 or 3. Might have been even 01. But when the Eagles lost, I went nuts. I was throwing eggs off my balcony. I was throwing. We had a popcorn tin that was like, you know, the kinds you get for Christmas where it's got like 3 different kinds of popcorns. I field goal kicked it through my balcony sliding door, and right below us, the reason why it became an issue was right below us was the main office. So next morning when everybody came into work, it was like the maintenance guys, the apartment manager. They knew that I was wild the night before. There were just cans of Budweiser everywhere. And I feel very lucky that that was every place that we've lived, there was some kind of example of that within the first year of me living there. So I've made it officially 1 year for the first time in a new residence. 1 year in a new residence without the police being called on me. So I feel very fortunate. I feel very blessed. And thank you guys for making this happen. Ooh, baby. All right, so next up, have you guys ever seen Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment? I had seen pictures over the years, but I never knew the layout. I was always curious as to what it looked like inside. It turns out, oh, dude, Stacks real quick. Yeah, I was boozing hard. Booze was the centerpiece of every negative interaction I've ever had. Yeah, specifically that moment, that day, the Eagles playing in the NFC Championship game, I probably had 30 beers. And especially with them losing, just a brutal afternoon and evening. All right, Dean Norton, I had meth neighbors that moved a few months ago, but the ex-boyfriend would drive by all night beeping, so I went out and yelled at him. He said he was going to shoot me. That's a good meth neighbor, man. That checks out, man. Oh, Vincent, man. During the day your team has like the biggest game of the season, you start drinking at like 9 a.m. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't think it was that day. I think it was the next year's championship game where I beat up a guy in my apartment. He was very rude to my wife, so he 100% deserved it. But surprisingly, the cops didn't come for that one. Again, alcohol at the centerpiece of it. Oh, going back to the Dahmer apartment. So I had seen still photos a million different times. And this guy who has a YouTube channel called Jeffrey Dahmer's Apartment number 213, he put together this video compilation, which is a compilation of just pictures and some video of inside and outside of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. And it adds a lot of context when you hear these stories about how guys were trapped and where they were. And then also it's just kind of cool and voyeuristic to see what Dahmer was working with. So if you don't mind, I would like to do a Jeffrey Dahmer apartment tour right now. Here we go, baby. So that's it, baby. Oxford Apartments, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just want to add, this was in an all-black neighborhood, by the way. So Jeffrey Dahmer reinforcing every stereotype that black people have about us, and that we're all serial killers, we're all cannibals, we all smell like dogs. Thanks a lot, Dahmer. Imagine living across from that, where he's cooking tongues in the middle of the night and you got to get up for work the next day. Oh, man. Imagine how that hallway smells. Oh, man. I mean, Dahmer's arrested at this point, but this is kind of like everything that he could possibly want. If they showed him this picture of a very lanky, bendy black guy, which he loved, just standing outside of his apartment, longingly looking at his door. On a fun note, if anybody is interested in or collects murderabilia, this is probably one of the great finds that I became aware of anybody possessing. But my dear friend Zach Amico told me that his friend bought the numbers 213 off of Jeffrey Dahmer's door. I couldn't imagine. I would, as much as I want to say, like, I don't want any of that shit in my house, I kind of do. I would, if I had the money for shit like that, I would definitely do it. A few years back, I saw one of John Wayne Gacy's Pogo the Clown paintings up for sale, and I think it ended up getting like 6 figures. If I had that kind of money, I would buy something like that. God, I got to get rich. That's how you know I've made it. If you ever come over my house and I got like Eileen Warnos's fucking toilet, that's how you know I've made it, baby. So far, everything I'm getting about this apartment, I feel like I know exactly what this building smells like. Stale air, cigarettes, booze, some piss. Yeah, I feel like I got a pretty good read on what this hallway smells like. And the way smoke burns into wood. This is a stinky apartment before Dahmer even gets cooking. Before the chef even puts on his apron, this is a stinky apartment building. All right, now we're inside. All right, let's get a look at this. It's apartment 213. 213 was actually a rap group with Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Nate Dogg, by the way. I believe, all right, so I think this is the front door that we're staring at head on right now. So to the right would be the bathroom, and I was going to say clean floors, but it looks like he's got, God knows what that fucking stain is right there. Do you think Dahmer was the kind of guy to ask you to take your shoes off before you came in his apartment? It looks like right there he let people kind of do what they wanted, but for a guy who was julienning fingertips in the kitchen, Dahmer still strikes me as the kind of guy who would ask you to take off your shoes before you came in. All right, let's pause that. All right. So on the wall, all right, top left corner, We got a Jack Guy picture frame. Above that, we have one camera. On the other side, we got a second camera. All right, this is super scary. And he's got a fish tank, which, those poor fish, man. I wonder what they did with these fish. And you got to wonder, like, I don't know, man. Anytime I see animals involved belonging to awful people that have committed awful crimes, I don't know, man. I understand they're not conscious of what's going on. However, they got to be absorbing that negative gay cannibal energy that he's putting out. I wonder if the blocking of the window is intentional to prevent people from trying to escape that way. You got to move a bunch of plants out the way. Blue velvet curtains. That's a hallmark of a gay guy who doesn't have a lot of money. That should be the number one telltale sign that Dahmer was up to something, because gay guys usually have shit figured out financially. If there's a gay guy in your apartment building who's broke, you really got to question what he's doing in the middle of the night. And it ain't taking poppers. Spooky. Cool fish tank. Another jacked guy framed on the wall. Say what you want about Jeffrey Dahmer, but not a lot of clutter in this apartment. Not a big place, however, there's not shit everywhere. It just looks like a gently lived-in apartment. All right, some nice artwork on the wall. A chair there with a lava lamp. All right, so this big plant stand is blocking the AC, which is an insane move. It's got to get hot as fuck in that apartment. All right, so I don't think there's any so far. Let me know if you guys think otherwise, but it just seems like a cool gay guy who's in some rough stuff and filming and fish. All right, unnecessary for this picture. All right, yeah, it's a stinky couch, man. I feel like I've been in this apartment 1,000 times. Especially my coke days, I would usually go up to Bristol, PA, and every apartment that I was ever in up there kind of resembled this. This couch is probably on its third or fourth owner. So you could feel the springs as you sit on it. Dinmock 10, any chance for a JOI on Patreon? Yeah, why not, man? I got to get into the JOI game. Maybe that's how I could start to finance my Disney trips, by starting to do JOI videos. A lot of Budweiser. The man loves Budweiser. Oh, man, dude. Goddamn, I love Budweiser so much, man. Dude, that was my beer. Dahmer could have easily gotten me to go back to his apartment. I feel like I'm always on the lookout for cool guys. And if I just happen to be hanging out at a bar and Dahmer was like, look, man, I got a bunch of Budweiser back at the house. I got Exorcist 3 on VHS, which is what he would have everybody watch. And I fucking love The Exorcist 3. I think Exorcist 3 might be the best Exorcist movie. Everybody raves about 1, and it was scary as shit. 2 sucked dick. But Exorcist 3 is a proper horror movie. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out. There's one scene that still scares the shit out of me, no matter how many times I watch it. And it's the scene in the hospital where the nurse is carrying the shears, and she's clearly going to cut somebody's head off. Yeah, Finn, I know, man. I would have got by the Dom Bomb. All it takes is Budweiser, Exorcist 3. I like to wrestle, too, so we would have inevitably devolved into a wrestling match with Dahmer. he would have got me, man. He would have definitely got me in the apartment. I think I might have been able to overtake him in the apartment. But I also know from watching interviews with the guy who escaped and brought the police to Dahmer's apartment, Tracy Edwards. There's a great interview with him on Geraldo. Maybe we'll watch that next week. That would be fun. It's a funny interview, but also you get the inside scoop on how everything went down. And Tracy Edwards mentions how after Dahmer clearly put something in his Budweiser and Tracy Edwards started fighting back, and he had like a couple seconds as he bolted for the door. And it just so happened the one or two locks that he tried were the only locks that Dahmer had actually locked, and he picked the right ones, and he was able to open the door and get out of there. Truly horrifying shit. But yeah, I could have overpowered Dahmer. He would have had me up until telling me to put on handcuffs, because that was where people really got fucked up. All right. Kitchen's a mess. I wonder if this mess was created by the police or this was just the end of a meal that Dahmer had cooked. Ooh, oh, boy. All right. So look at that substance in that pot. God knows what the fuck that is. God knows what that is. A lot of knives out. Dude, what the fuck, man? Well, they took all of his appliances, so I guess he can go fuck himself. Oh, man. That's so funny. An apartment that size, a one-bedroom apartment in the hood in Milwaukee, you have a freezer because you're killing so many guys that you need to store the meat. Nice. Another set of blue velvet curtains. All right, so this is the bedroom. All right, so that floor's fucked up. What's on the floor there? That's definitely a VHS. All right, there we go. That's dude stuff. That's not The Exorcist 3. That is guys wailing on each other's high knees videos. All right, so this is where he would show guys Exorcist 3. And if you saw Netflix's Monster series about Jeffrey Dahmer, this looks almost exactly the same. The TV VCR combo, perfect setup for a bedroom in early 90s. I do like the wall phone right there. You got to feel like such a boss if you're in there. You got a dude shackled to the bed. You're just telling him, you're doing DVD commentary for Exorcist 3 as this guy's biting through his ball gag, and you take a phone on the wall phone. Baller alert. Not comforting, having that in the bedroom. There's so many different elements where, yeah, I definitely would have gotten got by Dahmer, but I think walking into a bedroom and seeing one of these in the corner of the room, put a plant on it or something, man. Just got a cuck chair right next to the container where a body's probably dissolving. Dahmer, you need a checkup from the neck up, brother. I gotta find audio. Like, could you imagine? Everybody had to have been spreading rumors about this ornery white boy and what he's up to in that apartment. And then finally, the day when claims are validated, and you see guys in the most severe hazmat suits you'll ever see, bringing out tubs like this that are clearly full of human remains. Tough day for the hood. Those are my bongos. I wonder if anybody popped the tape in and just stood there and watched it. Another dude picture up here in the left-hand corner. Does that look like a stereo on top of the TV? I don't know. Wood paneling. All right, definitely adds to the stinkiness, overall stinkiness of the apartment. The man loved taking pictures. That's never good. When you see a drawer pulled out and it's full of Polaroids, it's never of nature, birds, sunrises, sunsets. It's always dudes missing limbs. All right, gross. All right, let me go back to that real quick. The two kissy skulls in the closet. That's a Dahmer joke. Like, he does seem like a funny dude. That's a classic Jeffrey Dahmer joke. God bless him. God love him. God bless him. Ethyl ether. Always troubling when you go over to a guy's apartment and he's got a chemical in the closet, which sounds like a trans burlesque dancer. Coming to the stage, ethyl ether. All right, a little bit TP. All right, what is that shit? Chloroform. Oh, Jeff, no. Ethyl ether. That's a drag queen who's going to read to your kids at a library. Always Halloween for Dahmer. Do you think he specifically arranged those two skulls to be kissing each other? If so, that's got to be tough from the afterlife if you're one of those dudes who used to inhabit that skull. It's being like, please, God, do not let them be able to identify my dental records, and my family knows that I'm in the closet, still in death, kissing another skeleton, another male skeleton. Yo, Andy, what's up, brother? All right, so he got the fridge. Ew, fucked up liquids, poorly wrapped up. He could have used some Tupperware. Ew. For a guy who eats people, not the horrific refrigerator I would have imagined. Those are some tough looking handcuffs, man. If you're going to handcuff me, put the shiny ones on. These just scream doom. It's a junk drawer. All right, so that's more saws than you want to see in a one-bedroom apartment. I'll give them that. The hammer, probably not good intentions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hand saws. Oh, man. It adds to the level of horror knowing that he wasn't using good tools. Because imagine, like, you're whacked on ethyl ether, and you're coming to because the guy who's sawing your body up forgot to charge his handsaw or his little power gun dinghy here. And it's barely cutting through your skin, might even cut through some muscle, but it's clearly dying, and you just got to deal with it because Jeff Dahmer doesn't have any money to afford a fucking Milwaukee or Makita. Six feet. All right, Dahmer. All right, so that's Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. Do you think it adds to how scary it was that the apartment was small? Or do you think it detracts from how scary it was made to be? And it was a second floor apartment, by the way, because if guys thought about jumping out the window, you could have done it without severely injuring yourself, but here I am Monday morning quarterbacking gay sex crimes. Nothing I wanted to do on the nation's 250th birthday. But oh boy, guys, listen, I have something special lined up for you next. I've been thinking, listen. All right, Daniel Poon, confined spaces are always creepy. Yeah, man, I think I lean towards that. Yes. Yeah, Sawzall is probably the worst option to have your body chopped up with. Like, dude, put me in an industrial fucking meat grinder or don't grind me up at all, man. Good morning, Shadow Homie. All right, so next up, I have a special segment for you guys, and I created a graphic for it, and I hope you enjoy it.
Fucked up cuts.
Fucked up cuts, celebrating the worst haircuts in true crime. Listen, the first thing I notice whenever I see somebody's mug shot is that the quality of their haircut. And in the true crime world, there seems to be an overwhelming majority of guys that just have fucked up cuts. And I believe that you can tell a lot from people's head shape. And not so much haircut, but even just having a weird head is usually indicative that you're into some very weird fucking shit. All right, let me hit you guys with a chirp real quick. We shouldn't have to wait on chirps here. There we go. All right, so I want to display some of the worst haircuts and head shapes in true crime, and I hope you'll join me on analyzing some of these bad boys. Now, first up is a guy named Charles Ng. So Charles and a guy named Leonard Lake went on a murder spree in Northern California in 84 and 85, which also happened to be the time that the Night Stalker was operating, by the way. They kidnapped, tortured, assaulted, and murdered numerous victims at Leonard Lake's property out in the middle of nowhere. And Charles Ng was convicted of 11 murders and sentenced to death in California. So I want to show you this fucking weirdo's head shape and haircut. Look at that. Charles Ng. There's never been a guy in the history of the world that has had that haircut who's been up to any kind of good. That haircut always goes with those glasses and the beady eyes. He looks like the fucking... He actually looks like a cute shirt tail. You remember the children's cartoon Shirt Tails? Although he looks like one of the shirt tails, he couldn't be any further removed from it. There's got to be some part of you that knows, because that's a deliberate cut. That's a prison haircut. And if you're going to one of the many Mexican guys in prison that gives incredible fades, you have to be, as a barber, you have to denounce this haircut and tell him, look, man, I know this is what you want. This is I have a backpack that's heavier than it should be by 40 pounds. I'm going to run the class, even though there's no reason for me to absolutely do it. And I am going to creep out every girl in school with the worst breath imaginable. This is what that haircut tells the world. I mean, no nothing to it. Just a Lego guy. Just lady's mouth, by the way. All right, so that's detracted from the haircut, but he definitely has a lady's mouth. But this haircut is usually indicative that somebody eats with a fist. They hold a spoon with a fist. They eat cereal as they watch their cartoons. This is a guy who's never once made a lady feel comfortable. So, Charles, I know you were sentenced to death in California. So, for each of these guys, if they were sentenced to the electric chair, they also need to be sentenced to the barber chair. Tough haircut, Charles. Coming up next, Dylan Roof. All-time worst haircut. This might be the worst haircut ever in true crime, and that's saying something. Dylan Roof, born in 1994, and in 2015, he murdered 9 black parishioners during a Bible study at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. He was convicted and sentenced to death. I pray to God that Dylan Roof has gotten a haircut on the inside. You don't have to look like this, and you often wonder if it's a chicken or the egg situation. Like, did this haircut cause you to do such horrific shit? Or was the groundwork already there for that? Dude, Dylan Roof's sister is buck wild, too. She got caught bringing a gun to school. So, yeah, the roofs are on fire. But there had to have been a point. If I was interrogating Dylan Roof after the crime, I would be like, yo, not for nothing, but do you mind if I give you a buzz cut real quick? Because in good conscience, I can't go out and buy you Chick-fil-A and get you talking while you're staring at me with that fucking hairstyle. Just a real Cousin Oliver from Brady Bunch type shit, which is insane for a guy to have in 2015. And I don't know a lot about Charleston. Charleston seems like a pretty wealthy area. Are people relegated to haircuts like this while also living in Charleston? Because I could go either way. He either comes from a pretty well-to-do family or extreme poverty. This is a tough one to get a read on. But either way, dude, get a haircut before you commit the crime. Is it that hard to go into a fucking barbershop? You're not going to need money anymore. How badly do you need to hang on to $20 that you can't walk into a barbershop and have him give you anything other than the fuck me up fam? Brother, just please splurge before any spree that you go on. This is for anybody out there as well. If you're planning something horrific, look sharp, man. There's no reason for you to look like this after you've done something horrible. And this is going to be the lasting image that people have of you, is you with a fucked up ass haircut when you could look sharp. Like, go, I don't know. I don't know what celebrity does haircuts now that Queer Eyes men. But there's got to be somebody out there who could fix him up. So Dylan Roof, all-time worst haircut. This might actually be, I think if I had to pick one that is the absolute worst haircut in true crime history, that's this. Like, how do you even fucking comb this haircut? If you got to go forward 8 inches to comb your shit, cut it. I get wiggers like to have bangs, but those aren't bangs. Those are hangs. Like, there's just right above the eyebrow. There's no reason for this haircut whatsoever. Dylan Roof, this is the most horrific thing I associate with Dylan Roof, by the way. Next up, this is a guy whose haircut is bad enough, but his head shape really speaks to the depravity of his crimes. And of course, I'm referring to Dennis Rader, BTK. Dennis Rader, between 1974 and 1991, murdered at least 10 people and would taunt police with letters that he would send, just goading them into believing that they would never catch him. And fortunately, he was a stone cold fucking moron who sent a floppy disk that he had loaded files onto from his church, and the police were able to tell where that floppy disk was used by the data that it contained, and they were able to catch the fucking BTK. Everything about this guy's face is troubling. So, common theme, deadness in the eyes. There's a few guys, and actually, not the next guy that I'm going to show, but the final guy that I'm going to show, they have the same halved eyebrows. Like, if you got eyebrows that are sawed off, you are a problem in your neighborhood. Haircut, bad enough. Like, when it gets to this point, you really just gotta just go bald, man. You get off on being a scary guy. You don't think you would look even scarier as a baldy? Like, now you just look like you argue brunch checks. You got to shave that shit, Dennis. And Dennis Rader, if you're watching, please do the world a favor, get a haircut, then grant an exclusive interview just so we can see what your shit looks like now. But just a skull shape that looks like he's wearing a Flesh Guardian helmet. There's no reason for this. I think you can tell a lot about people's personal lives from their head shape. And this is as problematic as it gets. Kind of long ears. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Mustache is fine. Actually looks pretty. He's got that shit on. Like, he looks really good in a suit. Looks like he's going to a daddy-daughter dance. Cleans up pretty well. But, brother, just grow those eyebrows in and just get yourself a fresh cut, man. They're doing such good work with balding white boy hairlines right now that there's no reason, especially in prison, when you have access to the best barbers that the world has to offer, there's no reason for this head shape. Hey, Slade, what up, brother? Yeah, this guy just eats the water ice, no syrup. You said it, Butter Dick Jones. Just a real no good Nick through and through. Does look great in a suit, though, so I do have to add that. I have to give him his propers. All right, coming up next, Rex Heuermann, recently convicted of 8 murders in the Gilgo Beach slayings. I mean, dude, how do you arrive at this point? I think there's something to be said for the depravity that a person engages in with how not how long they're willing to go without a haircut, but what they eventually settle upon. To go with this, where you got, I don't even know if it's a skin fade. I think it's just bald, and it's definitely not a toupee. This screams toupee, but I know that it's not a toupee because I've seen other pictures of him with this hair. Balding underneath this little flap that's coming over, but the most problematic aspect of Rex Heuermann's haircut is what's going on here on the sides. I wonder if it's a deliberate choice to just make the world perceive you as scarier, to really accentuate the severity of your crimes, or if you just go in, sit down in a chair, and you're just like, yo, leave everything but the 2 inches above my ears. I want you to go fucking ballistic with that razor 2 inches above my ears, and do not cut another strand of hair if it's not in that area. Just stay away from me, Rex. That's all I ask. If you got a haircut like this, don't even ask me what time of day it is. Don't even ask me where the closest Taco Bell is. Just stay the fuck away from everybody with this haircut. I got to imagine, like, death is welcome. If you're being strangled to death by Rex Heuermann, it's got to be a relief to know that you're dying so you don't have to look at this fucking haircut anymore. Rex, absolute pile of garbage for having that haircut, man. Finally, a guy with another, here's the same thing with the eyebrows. They just get cut off at some point. This is Andrei Chikatilo, perhaps the worst Russian serial killer in history. Murdered at least 52 women and children across the Soviet Union. He's convicted, sentenced to death, and executed in 1994. Again, bad head shape, man. Just the combination of head shape, facial features, and jawline indicate that his mouth is always wet. He looks like a guy, even though in this picture he looks like he's okay, everything about this guy screams, I have white shit in the corners of my mouth 23 out of 24 hours a day. I do like that he's hamming it up for the camera. He's got a piercing stare. Could possibly be an elderly model, but we'll never know. But fucked up hairstyle. Hair looks like it stinks. Freckles on the head, never a good sign. And yeah, I draw the line with freckles on the face, man. As a guy with 1,000 freckles on my face, I think they're fine. However, if your freckles start encroaching upon the fucking crown of your head and the forehead, the crown of the head, you got problems. And it has nothing to do with the 50-plus people that you murdered, man. It's like it looks like some degree of maintenance has been kept on this haircut, but still, it's like, I get a different time. This was what, the fucking 70s? No, 90s. Well, I guess 90s Russia is kind of 70s America, so all of this aesthetic would check out. But still, brother, just fucking sit down with a Latin king in prison. I'm assuming they got Latin kings in Russian prison, and just give it a go, man. No reason for this haircut, but Andre Chikatilo, hopefully they executed you in the barber's chair, brother. All right, so that's fucked up cuts, everybody. Every once in a while, I do want to introduce a handful of guys who come to the true crime world with a fucked up cut and really just take our breath away. Not so much with what they've done from a criminal aspect, but what they've not done in the barber's chair. Really troubling, and I feel like I'm so desensitized to true crime at this point that haircuts are what stand out most about these people. I mean, yeah, I guess you're terrifying for what you did with a fucking knife, man, but goddamn, introduce yourself to a fucking clipper. Oh, G Steel, I would love to get a Paul Wall grill for the pod. There's actually one of the very cool guy that Tim and I have met down here in Austin. He makes grills. He presented Tim with a grill. I mentioned having a custom choker, our buddy Gabo, and Gabo said he's going to make me a custom choker. So I think the grill will have to wait for me, but I would like to get a custom choker, and I think it's on the way. Let me text my wife to get me some more coffee, man, because I do want to hang a little bit more with you guys. All right, guys, that's all the videos I got for today. If anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about. Any questions, any true crime shit that you want to bring up, I'm happy to talk about it. Because we're just vibing today, baby. Nice holiday weekend. I hope everybody's spending time with their loved ones who are spoiling their OnlyFans ladies. Yeah, did Mach 10. I'll take it as a compliment. I could be Paul Wall's stunt double. I'll take it, man. Paul Wall's got a Wigger Gremlin vibe that I can really fuck with, man. That shit's really right up my alley, man. I really enjoyed. I don't know a lot of his music. I know Sitting Sideways is a good one. I do. He did a great song with DJ Khaled. It's called Holler at Me, Baby. He snapped on that one. I like that stuff. Andrew Mexico, are you familiar with the Rainy Street murders in Austin? Dude, I kind of am, but as somebody who lives as close by as I do and has the same name as the fucking street where these happen, I haven't gone down there to fuck around and explore yet. But that might be a cool, I don't know, maybe that'd be a cool group project that if anybody who lives around here wants to do, I'd be happy to fuck around and dick around down on Rainy Street. Ooh, maybe we could try to bait the Rainy Street killer into getting one of us and throwing us in the river. That would be fun. I live in a recovery house with a bunch of other retards. Tell the boys I said hello, Big Shane Gillis. Oh, Paul and Riff Raff did a song together. I'll bet that's incredible. Any more news on Wigger Gala? Trying to organize a trip to New York next spring and figured I'd hit the gala on my way up. Finn, it's definitely going to be next spring in Philly. Is there a specific date that you have lined up for New York? Because I haven't finalized any of the details yet. So if people give me some time frames that you're going to be in that area, I'd be happy to build it around that. John R. Weber from John Phillips for Little Stinkers. Guy did some seriously deranged stuff. All right, I'll check him out, man. SCV, Paul Wall was my shit a year after high school, just chilling in the Geo Metro, drinking Goosebumps, drinking juice, bumping his CD. Coherent Nonsense, what do you think of the theory where it was old lead water pipes that caused the explosion of serial killers in California's 60s and 70s? I think that definitely has something to do with it. I'm looking around for a book that I had. Fuck, what was the name of this book? and I just saw it again. Goddamn, I got to look up this book title. Oh, a book called Murderland, which they theorized that environmental pollution from the Northwest was in large part responsible for these people becoming so fucked up and for there being such a high concentration of serial killers from the West Coast. Very interesting stuff, and I do think it checks out that and the and people having fucking lead poisoning. But then again, I'm a retard, but in my mind, it fucking makes sense. Hey, Stephanie, what's up? Stephanie, if you saw a murderer with a clearly fucked up haircut, as somebody that knows how to fix heads, do you think a guy, regardless of what crimes he's committed, do you think you could be like, all right, I cannot stand to have a person walking this earth with a fucked up haircut. I need to fucking take a clip into their heads. If not, I totally get it. Oh, Stacks. Tom O'Neill was testifying before Congress this week in regards to CIA involvement and naming guys who he thought were CIA operatives. Yeah, the Manson shit I definitely buy into. I don't know. It's hard to discount anything now when you realize just how deeply distrustful you should be of the government. It took me a long time to come around, but I just assume everything is a psyop now. Andrew, Mexico. I used to live off of East 8th Street in Austin when I first started popping off. Crazy how the APD treats it like the cops from the Dahmer situation. Yeah, I don't think cops typically have a lot of regard for gay crimes, unfortunately. I love gay crimes. I would investigate them with 100% vigor. Oh, Shadow Homie. Happy 4th of July to you, brother. Ooh, Stephanie, I like that idea. I would mindhunter these criminals while cutting their hair and call it the last cut. All right, love the way you think. Yeah, MF Snakes, Chaos. Chaos might be the best book on anything Manson related. For a long time, I thought Helter Skelter was kind of the Bible. Hey, babe, how are you? Thank you, baby. All right, baby. But yeah, for a long time, I thought Helter Skelter was the go-to for fucking anything Manson related. But oh yeah, there we go, baby. Now we're cruising. I thought it was the go-to for anything Manson related, but then when I read Chaos, that kind of took over for me as the go-to book on anything Manson related. It's very scary, and I don't know if it was from a position of just not wanting to be held liable for this shit, or if Tom O'Neill, if he deliberately did not come to conclusions in the book and just kind of left it up to the reader to determine what they think happened. But I do like that was how the book unfolded, how they're not telling you, hey, this is definitively what happened. It's that, look, all these things are kind of lining up, and it would be understandable to assume that this was all a gigantic conspiracy. Very scary stuff. There was, I especially like the intro to the book because they really delve into just how much of a distrustful piece of shit Vincent Bugliosi was. And he's the guy who prosecuted Manson, and he's the guy who wrote Helter Skelter. So there was a lot of I don't know, pontification from Vincent Bugliosi's standpoint. And this is coming from a guy who had a second family. Vincent Bugliosi, not like his first marriage didn't work out, so he started a second family with another lady. No, Vincent Bugliosi had two families running concurrently in Southern California. True psychopath. And when he found out that Tom O'Neill was kind of on his ass, for using Helter Skelter as kind of the driving point for the murders. He really, really fucking showed his true colors. Yeah, Larold, I'm kind of with you. I read Helter Skelter as a teen, and in hindsight, I really don't think it was very good. I think so, too. I think... All right, so there were a lot of... I think what made it seem good at the time was that it included details where you wouldn't find anywhere else. What it didn't do, it clearly supported why they chose to prosecute Manson the way they did, which I'm glad they sent them all away. But yeah, as time goes on, it's less and less as kind of like the definitive go-to guide for the Manson murders. It's definitely one that I would read if I was suggesting to somebody. I think the top three would be Chaos at the top. There's a book called Manson, which is a really good biography that does a very good job of accentuating the magnetism that Manson had. Let me see if I can pull it up. I know I had a copy. Fuck. And I think it's actually in the opening chapter of that book, Manson, where they're talking about the magnetism that he had. He was going to a club with Wilson from fucking the Beach Boys, and then Terry Melcher, the producer who used to live at 10050 Cielo Drive. And they mentioned how when he walked into a club, even though he was a guy who was 5'2", had nothing, but they all just described this magnetism that he had. Neil Young spoke about it too. And in Manson, they talk about how as he's walking out on the dance floor, the crowd is just parting. And they make it seem as though it's like the guy just has an aura. And I remember when I told Butterly about, the entire dance floor just parted for Charles Manson. They're like, he was homeless. He fucking stunk. Nobody wants to be fucking near him. So, I think that could have something to do with it. That's it, Finn. Dennis Wilson. I always get him confused with Brian Wilson. I'm sure he would like that, though. Wouldn't it be nice to be confused for Brian Wilson? Yeah, Andrew Mexico probably farted on the dance floor. But the guy had something, some indefinable feature that allowed him to really suck people in. Also, I think it was just a time where people were so much more susceptible to influence than they would be right now. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I was looking up that Manson book. All right, it's not Chaos. It's called Manson, but I got to see who the author is. Oh, Jeff Gwynne. That's it. Life and Times of Charles Manson, Jeff Gwynne. Heath, love you too, brother. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, homie. Heath, I'm very happy to do all this shit, man. I'm happy to just chill with you guys on a beautiful Saturday morning. Very proud of you, Heath, man. You're the man, dude. I hope to talk to you again soon. I really enjoy meeting everybody from the chats, from fucking Twitter, from Instagram, from all this shit, man. Anytime we get to cross paths, man, please come out and say what's up, because I love meeting everybody. Yeah, Pepper, I'm with you, man. Slade, I will ask Tubbs, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Tubbs strikes me as the kind of guy who would come to Janesville, Wisconsin on a whim just to hang out with me in September. T Rhodes, what's up, brother? Brother, you still back east watching World Cup? Dude, I couldn't think of anything more riveting than drinking 19 High Lifes and discussing plumbing, man. That's where it's at. Oh, baby. Yeah, Tubbs really is the man. Hey, Sam, what's going on, brother? I know Mexico's got a big one tomorrow night. Ooh, against England of all countries, man. I love seeing all my Mexican brothers getting riled up for their team, baby. Oh, T. Rhodes, man. Oh, I couldn't imagine. I think Brazil-Norway might have the most beautiful collection of ladies out of any World Cup matchup. So please enjoy. Oh, Stephanie, that would be fucking incredible, man. Stacks, man, I hope they get him, man. I think he's a guy who is already a stud. The Flyers need a first-line center, and he would fit that. And I just don't know if Anaheim's going to be able to match. I don't know if they have the money. And I know that the contract that Briere offered is front-loaded with bonuses. So it'll be interesting to see how that influences things. But I like it, and I hope the Flyers end up with him, man. All the Philly teams are fucking cooking right now, man. Pepper Dongs, what are you cooking up today? I don't know yet. So, Pepper, I'm checking on. There's a concert here in Austin. It's Willie Nelson, Stephen Wilson Jr., Sheryl Crow, and Billy Strings. And I would love to go to that concert, but I'm just trying to see if I can swoop in when tickets get to like $50. So if I can find tickets for $50, I'm going to do that today. If not, I'm just going to go hang at Butterly's for a barbecue. How about you? What do you got cooking? Oh, my God, Samantha, I'm so sorry. Holy shit. Samantha, I have something. I promised this to you last summer, and I apologize for shitting the bed on this. But when I went to Shelley Duvall's place, I got a bunch of things that I said I was going to send you. All right. Let me make a note of this because I shit the bed on that, and I will get those suckers out. Yeah, last summer, my wife and I went to Shelley Duvall's estate sale. And by the time we got there, just about everything had been picked over. But there was still a ton of stuff left over and tough stuff that was like pretty reasonably priced. And it was kind of nice knowing it was Shelley Duvall stuff. So, yeah, I got a bunch of things. And I got some of her books. I got a couple CDs. Interesting lady. You can definitely tell a lot about a person by what their personal library entails. And Shelley Duvall had a ton of books about raising kids in the most healthy way possible. It's very, very neat to see because she seemed like a very sweet soul, and she created a lot of positive children's content. Sam, tell Mark I said hello, too. I miss him as well. Sam, Deftones are coming to Texas in October, so I'm hoping to see them then. Again, tickets are fucking insane for that because it's a massive festival. I think Slayer's there. I can't remember who else, but Deftones are definitely going to be there. It's called Sick New World. It's in Dallas. And I really, really want to try to get to that one, man, because I love them so much. And I'm more conscious of this than ever, but a lot of the bands I like, they're, geezers too. So Deftones, they're in their fucking 50s. So I want to see them as often as possible. Any band I like I would love to get to the Sphere to see Metallica this fall. We'll see on that. But I'm just trying to make more of an effort to get to see more of the bands I like. Andy Pace, Lincoln Lodge ruled as usual, man. We really had a killer show. A bunch of my buddies came out to do the show with me. I had Jimmy Gillespie with me. Casey Rocket came out. He's such a fucking funny, sweet guy, man. I really love that guy. Yeah, dude, Finn, I love Tool. Is Tool going to be there? I think I might have seen them on the flyer. But yeah, I would love that shit. Yeah, Surfboard Charlie, I did. I liked it a lot. There was one that I thought sounded better before the release. There was a song, I forget what the new name was on the Eros album, but when it was just instrumental, it was called Dallas. And that's my favorite song off of there, just the instrumental version of that song. And that's still on YouTube. It's been up for years. It's called Dallas, and people were just like, no, there's no way this could be from the album. Like, it was, in fact, from the album. And I don't think I think the singing detracted from it. So just the instrumental was fucking killer. What did you think of the album? Yeah, Andy, I'm thinking the same too, man. I would love to see Willie Nelson and Billy Strings. I haven't seen yet. I have seen Steven Wilson Jr. I saw him in January. He came to Austin with Eric Church, and he's fucking incredible, man. He might be my favorite, like, newer artist. Yeah, there was a Deftones leak this past week, and it got taken down, but people have been gradually, like, putting it up. Anytime people put the album back up, it gets taken down pretty quickly, but if you can grab it, check it out. Raccoon Money, 2 dudes having a Roman candle fight, but it's with their members. Yeah, let it rip, man. Guys gotta let loose sometimes. I don't know a lot from Morgan Wallen, Stephanie. The one song he does have that I do like is Last Night We Let the Liquor Talk. Yeah, I used to let the liquor talk, baby. Yeah, a lot of good shows coming up this summer. I'm gonna go see Jimmy Eat World. I'm gonna go see Stained in September. I can't wait for that shit. Yeah, if anybody's going to see Stained in Austin in September, hit me up. I'll definitely be there. Just rocking out. I might get my wife to leave me for the week leading up to that, just so Stained lyrics hit even harder. Yeah, that shit rules. Oh, dude, a band that I got into recently, Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol. Those guys fucking rule, man. And as luck would have it, it turns out they're Dad Meat guys. So I've been speaking with the lead singer Leo from the band, and I'm actually going to interview him on Getting Some Head. And they're so cool, they're so fun, and they really put on a good show, man. Oh, Pepper Dongs, I saw Have Hearts going on tour. Yeah, Andrew, man, I would go just to see him. I thought about, even though I'm not a fan of the guy, I thought about going to see Bob Dylan last week, but tickets were too expensive for a guy who I'm not really into, but I would just go just to see live. Yeah, dog, I saw PA's been going through it. Dude, Big Shane, this really cracked me up. I saw that an ice cream shop near my old neighborhood shut down because it was too fucking hot. Could you imagine? What do you guys got lined up for concerts this summer? I'm turning into a little bit of a concert pig because... Oh, dude. Oh, Surfboard Charlie. It's funny you mentioned Phil Collins. I was just watching an interview with Bone Thugs last night where they talked about meeting him for the first time. Because they did a collaboration on something. Hey, Richie, what's up, brother? Bone Thugs did a collaboration with Phil Collins. I forget what song it was for. But Phil flew them out to Sweden to meet up and kind of talk about what he wants to accomplish. And he said he flew them out to his castle, and within minutes of meeting them, he was cracking open a blunt, and it just blew their minds. Oh, sweet Richie Chef. What's new with you, Rich? Mm-hmm. Oh, Stephanie, yeah, Stained and Hoobastank. I never really gravitated towards Hoobastank, even though Crawling in the Dark was a good going for a run after fighting with my wife song. Who? Aaron Lewis, Stephanie? MF Snakes, pull the trigger, go see Slightly Stupid. Oh, gotcha, brother. Skullfuck is, I didn't know Rob Zombie and Mance were going on tour this summer. I've seen both before, and both were incredible. Mechanical Albums might be one of my favorite rock albums of all time. Manson fucking really was something else. Late 90s, early 2000, man. Great shows back then. I don't know about now, man. He's so fucking old and fucked up that I just don't know. I think that kind of music you have to pull off with a certain degree of intensity, and yeah, I don't fucking know. But Rob Zombie's still incredible. Oh, Rudy, that'll be killer, man. Andrew, no, I'm not going to be at Shane's show this month. I'm going to Philly like 2 weeks later. Pepper Dunks, High Viz is incredible, man. Tim and I saw them. I think they came maybe like November or something. Yeah, they're really great, man. Yeah, Pepper, I think all things considered, man, you're making the right move, but yeah, it's a tough one to pass up. Those guys rock. Stephanie, is it weird I dream about Shane? Let it rip, man. Have your dreams. Andrew, I am doing shows at the beginning of April. Not in Philly, though. New York and New Jersey. I think my next Philly show is going to be October. Yeah, I think October 7th and 8th, I'm doing shows in the Philly area. The 7th will probably be in Bristol, and the 8th will be at Soul Joel's. So I hope to see some of you guys there. El Chapacabro, I'm in love with you too. Stephanie, how'd your conversation with Lemaire go? Oh, on a Lemaire note, so one of the things that we're going to be adding to the Little Snickers Patreon is we're going to be doing stinker episodes, but in addition to the ones that Jake, John, and I do together, we're adding 2 new ones for patrons only starting next month, I believe. But in addition to that, I thought it would be cool if we did episodes with me interviewing people here in Austin and Jake and John interviewing people in Philly, just having some of the boys on just to talk about serial killers that scare them, crimes that scare them, personal connections to crimes. And Lemaire is going to be coming on to join me for an episode that we're recording in 2 weeks. And when I asked Lemaire, is there a criminal or crime that stands out that you want to talk about, Lemaire said he would like to talk about finding the guy who killed OJ's wife. So we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks, and Lemaire's going to get into why he doesn't think OJ committed the crime. So I'm very excited to hear about that. My cheeks reek. Yeah, so we're going to have... All right, so we're going to have... Jake, John, and I are going to be recording 6 total episodes together each month. And then after that, it'll just be any separate shit we do. Like this shit's super easy for me because... I don't have to coordinate with anybody. I could just go online. I know how all the shit works now, so it's very easy for me to do this kind of stuff. And, Jake and John have carte blanche to do their own stinker episodes. So in addition to all the ones we're doing together, I thought it would be cool. Like, all right, maybe if we just add more shit that would be fun. Because I do want to have more guests on, but it just seemed like it's so hard to coordinate with me, Jake, and John together and have a guest. So we're going to be doing that separately. So I don't even know how many episodes we're going to put out a month, but I'm trying to record at least 2 a month here and hopefully get some more. And also, if anybody wants it to, I could also start uploading the audio from these streams onto the Little Snickers Patreon. If you feel like listening to that, because I know everybody doesn't watch this shit. Big Shane, thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, I love doing little stinkers, and I just didn't feel like we were doing enough. The realization came. It was a long time coming, but recently I was just like, we have to do more. Like I want to do more. I don't think we're doing enough stuff for the show, so it's foot on the gas the rest of the way out, man. I really love doing the show. I love doing all the episodes with John and Jake, and I also love doing this kind of shit separately. So, yeah, Stinkers is going to be there's going to be we're going to be making a lot of content for Stinkers in the next year. Yeah, so my focus for the next year, after I put out my Wigger Bible in August, my focus is just going to be on all my podcasts I got right now, Dad Meat, Little Stinkers, and Getting Some Head. I like starting new projects, and I like developing new ideas, but I don't want to do it at the risk of just not making all the shows that the people have gravitated toward as good as they can be first. So for the next year, it's just all systems go on Dad Meat, Getting Some Head, Little Stinkers. Yeah, Stinkers, we're doing a ton. I'm always super interested in what's going on in true crime, so I just want to keep banging out more and more stuff for it. And for Dad Meat, Tim and I are going to start adding extra episodes on Patreon. And for Getting Some Head, I'm going to be just doing more interviews with people. So hopefully people like those. And thank you to everybody who's ordered the Wigger Bible so far, man. I can't wait to put this fucking book out, man. It is the definitive work on Wiggerhood, and I'm excited for people to get their hands on it. Oh, dude, I love Count Dankula. That guy rules. Yeah, Mad Lads is a really good show. Ooh, Pepper, I like that idea. Wigger of the Month on Stinkers would be extremely fun. Stephanie is no, I don't know why. We didn't take it down. No, I don't know why that's not there. I'll look into it though. Casey Anthony. Oh, I've been keeping tabs on her. I want to read her blog so much. However, she puts a lot on the paid side of her blog, and I just can't validate spending $10 a month on Casey Anthony, man. It was $5 at one point, and I had to check out then, but there's no chance I'm signing up for $10. I don't know, man. I get pretty horny for true crime content sometimes, so I might bite the bullet and pay $10 for Casey Anthony's blog. Stephanie, John Wayne Gacy scares me as much as anybody, man. I mentioned this book a couple weeks ago, and it really, if you really want to knock your socks off with how horrific the world is, there's a book called Eye of the Chicken Hawk. And one of the scarier aspects of the book is that they show connections between John Wayne Gacy and all these other sex trafficking rings. And it truly is fucking horrifying to know that guys like him and Dean Corll were working together to procure victims. Yeah, you can get away with a lot. If you're good at something, if you excel at something, John Wayne Gacy seemed like he was a really good wheeler and dealer, and he had a reputable contracting business. That bought him a lot of leeway, especially back in the 70s. Oh yeah, Andrew Mexico. It's Eye of the Chicken Hawk is a horrifying book. But Stephanie, I bought Franklin Scandal. I haven't read it yet. Yeah, and that's kind of what it's more of an insinuation, but they really get into it in Eye of the Chicken Hawk, where there's so much, where every creep is basically connected. And I remember hearing Gacy wigging out about this when he was arrested, when it became apparent that he was not getting away with anything. There was an interview where Gacy was just like, look, why am I taking the fall for everybody? And they're just like, what do you mean everybody? And I think at that point, that even scared him, that he was like, all right, maybe I should shut my fucking mouth, man. Because even guys like Gacy get scared. Yeah, Big Shane, I hope Ben Simmons comes back to Philly, man. I would like that. Moses Webster. Yeah, I remember hearing Nick Bryant talking about it, and it seemed horrific. Yeah, I the Chicken Hawk is really... It's everything that you don't want to believe happens. So when you hear about, specifically in regards to the Epstein shit, you're like, there's no way it can be this horrific, because it sounds like they're just creating psychopath Mad Libs. But it starts to make sense. And when you hear that how these guys were able to operate with impunity for so long, it makes more sense when you realize how many levels of law enforcement, how many levels of the judicial branch were tied into just really perpetuating these awful crimes, because there's so many people from so many different walks of life tied into one another and just all scratching each other's disgusting backs. Yeah, in regards to that, there was a case that like we had briefly mentioned on a recent episode of Stinkers. I forget what brought it up, but there was a missing kid case in the early 90s, and it was a big deal because I was the same age when this kid went missing. It was a kid named Mark Heimbaugh, and he went missing in Cape May, New Jersey, I think it was. So down at the beach. None of it ever seemed to make any sense, and he just kind of fell off the face of the earth until a few years back, where a male prostitute from the Philly area, yeah, Big Shane, I the Chicken Hawk is a book, but in this specific case about Mark Heimbaugh, you didn't hear anything for years, and then finally, a couple years back, this male prostitute from the Philly area contacted the local NBC News affiliate and did an interview with them and said that he was picked up by a guy in Center City, Philadelphia, who was a regular customer, and the guy brought him to his place on the main line in Philadelphia. And before they would have sex, he would put in random pornography. In one of the videos he put on, it clearly showed this missing guy. And he's like, there's no doubt that this was Mark Heimbaugh. And he went to the police the next day. To this guy's credit, he did everything he could have possibly done in that situation. And that led me down a Mark Heimbaugh rabbit hole. And there was a book that I recently read. Hang on. I'll pull it up here. There was a book about the Mark Heimbaugh case. Fuck, I gotta look up the name. That scared the living shit out of me. All right, it's called Where is Mark by one of the detectives who worked on the case, Richard McHale. And if you got a Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free on there. But this book, Where is Mark, paints a really good picture as to what probably happened to Mark Heimbaugh. And one of the really sickening details that I hadn't considered before, because it was never brought up publicly, is that Mark Heimbaugh's dad likely had something to do with his disappearance. He was a stone-cold fucking creep who was not allowed around kids in his family because he was doing weird shit with them. And he was abusive towards Mark while not being abusive towards his older brother. And it was clear that this was probably a case of him kind of like selling off his own son for the sake of some kind of like trade-off, which they're not clear about, which I don't want to fucking know about because you can kind of assume what it is. But it seems like, okay, this all makes sense, and they probably... Oh, dude, on a creepier note, too, the fucking dad was in a barbershop quartet. How fucking scary is that? A sex offender... Well, they're most of them probably are. but numerous sex offenders in this barbershop quartet. But truly horrifying shit, man. And that's, I don't know, man. I feel like I can read about murder and there's very little that really phases me. But anything related to that, man, it's never not sickening. Dude, Stephanie, it is fucked up. Listen, if you want to, I think one takeaway from that book, Where's Mark, is that it's not more comforting, but I guess it having some kind of an explanation as to what happened does at least give some inclination as to what probably happened, because, you know, to outsiders, I think the scariest aspect is knowing that it could have been anybody's kids. But hearing this, it does, you start to wonder, like, why, like, this wasn't looked into more and how they weren't able to really fucking zone in on the fucking dad as the centerpiece of this shit. Yeah, I'm with you. That footage and that audio from that FedEx driver was some of the most nauseating shit you'll ever see. Lamb King, what's that for Philly tickets? Yeah, truly horrific shit, man. All right, guys. Well, I've had a lot of fun talking true crime with you guys today, man. And yeah, I'll be back every Saturday at 10 a.m. this month. I'm going to be streaming, so I hope you guys come back and join me. And I'm going to do this every Saturday morning that I'm not on the road. And I might start doing nighttime streams as well. So if you guys are into that, I might want to do that as well, because this shit's a lot of fun for me, and I like spurging out about this shit. I know John and Jake tolerate it, so I think this is more of a me thing. So this scratches my itch. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of these things, and you guys are making it a lot of fun for me, so I really enjoy doing this show stuff. And yeah, each week we're going to fucking discuss a few different things, and then at the end I'll talk about whatever the fuck you guys want to do. All right, Stephanie, yeah, I'll schedule some nighttime ones as well. Yeah, Coherent Nonsense, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, guys. I'm always happy to do this, man. You guys really make all this shit fun for me, and I can't tell you enough, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But yeah, it's because of you guys that I'm able to do this stuff, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing right now. You guys really make this shit and just life fun, man. It really is. I just love doing this shit, man, and you guys fucking rock, man. Jay Clips, what did you say? I'm sorry, I'm not skipping your question. How do you feel about Shane's Philly ticks being 200 plus each? I find it disgusting. I know that there's no doubt in my mind that he's bothered by that. But I think some shit's just probably out of his control. I'm just speaking for him. I don't have any insight or anything, but he's a very thoughtful guy, and I would assume that if he could make tickets $25 for every show and just keep it at that, he would. But you know, it's probably out of his reach right now. Fuck you, records. Yeah, definitely, man. Perfect answer. But he's, oh boy. I don't know. I don't know that he's converted. I don't know that that's on the docket, man. But Kid Rock was able to set low tickets for fans. Yeah, you got to watch out for the tightwads, man. All right, y'all. But this has been fun, man. And I did mention last week that I do want to end every episode with an episode of R. Kelly's Trapped in a Closet. And, yeah, I'll make that happen for next week, man, because I do want to fucking watch that, man. I think I've seen 5 chapters of R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. And, truly some of the most captivating content that I've ever fucking seen. So I can't wait to watch the rest of those with you guys. All right, guys. Enjoy your 4th of July, man. I try not to blow any of your fingers off. And I will see you guys next Saturday on Morning Maniacs with Mike. Later, guys.